You know what's dangerous in business? It's not always bad decisions. Sometimes it's assumptions. The assumption that customers will find you, the assumption that your product will sell, and surprisingly, the assumption that your business name is available. Because here's what happens. An entrepreneur gets excited. They finally think of the perfect company name. It sounds professional. The domain seems available. Friends like it. Family likes it. Everything feels right. So they start building around it. The logo gets designed. The website gets started. Marketing ideas begin flowing. Then reality shows up. Someone else already owns a similar name, or the state determines the name isn't distinguishable enough from an existing business. And suddenly, all that excitement turns into frustration. Not because the business idea was bad, but because one assumption wasn't verified. Hi, I'm Bobby Casey, founder of BusinessAnywhere.io. For more than 20 years, I've helped entrepreneurs launch companies, navigate compliance requirements, and avoid the small mistakes that often create big problems later. And today we're talking about one of the simplest but smartest things you can do before forming a business in Wisconsin, a Wisconsin business entity search. Now, on the surface, this might sound like a routine administrative task, something you do because you're supposed to, but in reality, it's much more than that. It's one of the first opportunities you have to protect your future brand, and that's why it deserves more attention than most people give it. Let's start with a question. What exactly is a business entity search? Most entrepreneurs assume it's simply checking whether their exact business name already exists, but that's only part of the story. The real purpose is determining whether your desired name is distinguishable from existing registered entities, and that's a very important distinction, because names don't need to be identical to create a conflict. They simply need to be similar enough to cause confusion. Imagine there's already a business called Badger Business Advisors, and you want to register Badger Strategic Advisors. Different names? Absolutely. But could customers confuse them? Potentially. And that's exactly the type of situation a business entity search helps uncover. You're not just checking availability, you're identifying risks before they become expensive problems. Now, if you're planning to form an LLC corporation or another business entity in Wisconsin, you'll use the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions Business Search Database. This tool allows you to review registered businesses throughout the state. And here's where many entrepreneurs accidentally limit themselves. They search one name, one time, then stop. But the smartest entrepreneurs approach it differently. They investigate. Let's imagine your desired business name is Great Lakes Growth Partners. Instead of searching only the full phrase, break it apart. Search Great Lakes Growth Partners, Great Lakes Growth Partners, and similar variations. Why? Because you're not simply hunting for exact matches. You're trying to understand the overall naming landscape. Think of it as gathering intelligence before making an important decision. The more information you have, the better your decision becomes. Now, once the results start appearing, don't rush through them. Slow down, review carefully, look for patterns, look for repeated words, look for names that sound similar. And here's an important question to ask yourself. If someone heard both names on a podcast, radio ad, or phone call, would they know the difference? Because confusion isn't always visual. Sometimes it's verbal. And that's something many entrepreneurs overlook. Now let's talk about another detail that creates confusion: business status. When reviewing search results, you'll notice that some entities are active, others may be inactive, dissolved, or administratively terminated. And when people see an inactive business, they often assume the name is available, but that's not always true. A dissolved entity doesn't automatically mean a name is immediately free for use. There may still be restrictions or administrative considerations involved. That's why it's important to verify rather than assume. A few extra minutes today can prevent weeks of frustration later. Now let's move beyond availability and talk about compliance. Because even if a name appears available, Wisconsin still has naming requirements. If you're forming an LLC, your name generally needs to include LLC or limited liability company. Corporations typically require identifiers such as corporation, incorporated, or Inc. And then there are restricted words. Terms connected to banking, insurance, education, and certain regulated industries may require additional approvals before they can be used. So availability alone doesn't guarantee approval. The name also needs to satisfy state regulations. Now here's where the conversation becomes more strategic, because your business name isn't just a legal requirement, it's part of your marketing, your branding, your customer experience, your reputation. Think about how often customers will see your business name on your website, on invoices, on proposals, on social media, in search results. It's everywhere. which means choosing a name isn't just a compliance decision, it's a growth decision. That's why I encourage entrepreneurs to ask a few additional questions. Can I secure the domain name? Are the social media handles available? Is the name easy to spell, easy to remember, easy to recommend? Because the strongest business names don't just pass legal review, they help businesses grow. And here's another mistake I see all the time. People choose names that fit today's business perfectly, but don't fit tomorrow's business. Maybe the name focuses on one service, one city, or one niche market. The problem is businesses evolve, services expand, markets change, and a name that feels perfect today can become limiting later. That's why it's important to think long-term. Don't just choose a name for the business you're starting. Choose a name for the business you're building. Now, once you've completed your Wisconsin business entity search and feel confident about your choice, the formation process becomes much smoother. You'll move forward knowing you've done your homework. You'll reduce unnecessary risk, and you'll build your company on a stronger foundation. And honestly, that's one of the biggest advantages in entrepreneurship, preparation. Because many business problems aren't caused by bad ideas. They're caused by overlooked details. So if there's one takeaway from today's video, it's this. A Wisconsin business entity search isn't just another item on your startup checklist. It's one of the earliest strategic decisions you'll make. Search thoroughly, think critically, plan for growth, and choose a business name that supports both compliance and long-term success. Because the strongest businesses often start with smart decisions that nobody notices in the beginning. And if you'd like help forming your company, maintaining compliance, or managing the administrative side of your business, that's exactly what we help entrepreneurs do every day at Business Anywhere. Through our Digital Nomad Kit, we provide company formation, registered agent services, compliance support, bookkeeping, and ongoing business management solutions designed for modern entrepreneurs. You can find more information in the links below. And remember, the best way to avoid business problems is to catch them before they ever happen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.